Hi, I'm Dr. Cheryl Wilson at Living Well with Dr. Wilson, and I have a passion about sports injury management. And today I want to talk to you about concussions or head injuries or getting your bell rung, whatever the term is from your era. Too often through the years that was quite trivialized. It was just shake it off and get back into the game. But we now realize that an injury that gets your bell rung is an injury to the brain and needs to be taken seriously. And when you are looking at taking care of a closed head injury, is what we call it, as in you haven't had to go into hospital and get care by a neurosurgeon, that doesn't mean that something significant hasn't happened. Your brain still needs to be healing and it needs to be protected. And we now know that going back to sport too soon can cause problems with the brain. So we need to see someone that has experience with dealing with head injuries, concussions, and that is familiar with the game and the sport and understands how to get someone back into the game safely. Part of that is doing a thorough assessment of the brain injury. And there is a form that's called SCAT-5, not the best name, but it does the trick. And it does a thorough assessment of the brain and does various tests, both thinking ones as well as movement ones. And ideally, this is done at the beginning of the season for all athletes that might be in a sport that could cause a head injury, so that we have a baseline, because everybody's not made equal on certain movement abilities and thinking abilities. Then we've got that baseline. So if they have an injury and we test them, we compare it to the baseline. And then we can use that retesting to see how well they're recovering. The other aspect that's really important is that the brain can be healing and the head ache gone and they're feeling better and they're wanting to go back into the game. But they need to be safely re-engaged in the game in a way that brings up their blood pressure and their heart rate, not in a game situation, and see how they are feeling. Because a brain that is healing and not fully healed, you may feel fine, but once you start doing something with energy and effort, that those symptoms can come back, and that is a brain that still needs to be protected. So this may mean staying out of the game longer than you wanted to, but in the end, it'll keep you in the game longer through the rest of your life and being healthier and well, because long-term repercussions of head injuries are getting to be understood more and more, and the more that you have of them, the more that builds up with micro trauma. So we want to protect your brain because you're going to use it for the rest of your life, and it's vital. So if you have any questions or concerns, never hesitate. Get to someone that specializes in sports injuries and concussions and get them fully tested and very carefully and respectfully return to the sport safely so that they can go back with confidence and safety back into the game, knowing that you've done everything to protect the brain that is, of course, vital to be able to play the game in the first place. So never let anybody minimize the head injury. Always get it checked and get it seen to by someone that's got experience about getting someone with a concussion back into a game. All right, take care and enjoy the day.